What do you think about her tweets?
This is the left 101. When it doesn't go my way, it's racist, and any black man or woman involved in the process who didn't agree with them, obviously they're irrelevant. So that was the diss. Just go wham. Just complain. I mean, that's what children do. They never can accept a decision. And affirmative action the case was even being brought up because Asian Americans felt that they were not getting a fair opportunity. So rich white people didn't have.
Get ready for an unexpected but thrilling crossover. AOC takes the stage full of fire, passion, and conviction, only for Tyrus to appear like a human plot twist. With effortless sarcasm, he transforms her dramatic moment into a roast so sharp it practically demands a viewer discretion warning. What follows is chaos and hilarity in perfect balance, as their exchange escalates with unpredictable energy, leaving the audience both stunned and thoroughly entertained, as if the universe itself orchestrated the spectacle.
Anything to talk about in terms of merit, you just blame it on rich white people. And it's been a cushion that's been allowed in this country for a long time. And now as you see more of that's the new pillow. My pillow's got nothing on the new pillow of blame rich white people, because you can rest your head on it in any argument. Bring any argument up with me. Anything. Ask me any question. How are the Knicks doing this year? Well, why am I supposed to know that? I'm not a rich white person. See what I'm saying?
You're in for a treat. Don't forget to subscribe. It really makes a difference. Politics thrives on big, theatrical moments where gestures and presence convince audiences that history is happening live. AOC excels at this, never simply entering a room. Her energy makes even the simplest act, like grabbing a coffee, feel as if she's about to deliver the State of the Union, commanding attention with every move.
Are completely out of touch of everything. This is a big country. Some people, regardless of high inflation, are still going to fly to go. It has nothing to do with lower class Americans who are struggling to pay bills, or people just make their decisions. It's just, they're so out of touch, and they worry about other things, the wrong things like pardons and perceptions and how they're looked at, instead of like just shutting up, step out of your little bubble, maybe close the safe spaces, walk out on this crunchy green stuff called grass, and get involved in the world and see that
AOC exudes drama, every disagreement punctuated like a meteor warning. Yet, this time the spotlight shifted quickly. Tyrus stole the show. With just a raised eyebrow, he transforms tense political moments into razor-sharp humor, delivering punchlines so precise they leave the audience stunned, turning the scene into pure comedic gold.
Oh, of course they didn't read the decision. And again, these are all successful men and women of color who all have educations, who are sitting on top of the mountain calling foul. Like, this is just the par for the course. It is just, what is the narrative? Oh, that's the way we're going with it? But it was nice to see white men get a break. You know what? Because you've had a rough year. They started blaming some stuff on white women. So you guys get a little bit of the feel.
Poor AOC didn't see it coming. You'd expect a seasoned politician to tread carefully when a master of sarcasm is about to step in. Yet she charged forward, convinced the audience would be inspired and maybe even ready to put her on a $10 bill. Armed with facts, dramatic pauses, and that I've cracked humanity's code, energy, she advanced, oblivious to the comedic chaos building behind her.
And we have fan mail, and I just can't listen to those Nate Silvers and these Saliza people just bites into this glorious show. AOC. What? She's kind of fun in a silly but earnest, wrong but adorable way. She's like your daughter when she comes back from her first year at Brown, full of half-baked, half opinions, in need of some gentle, patient deprogramming. But people have to realize new faces doesn't mean...
Her speech on wealth disparity, looming climate disasters, and unchecked corporate greed unfolded like a Marvel origin story. Every crisis painted in epic, dramatic strokes, she positioned herself as humanity's towering heroine, gestures timed like destiny's own cue. Polite, robotic applause followed, yet she beamed as if receiving a standing ovation. Enter Tyrus. No stats, no doom-laden analogies. His approach was faster, sharper, simpler. He didn't need apocalyptic scenarios to captivate. His tool was pure comedy, turning every grandiose moment into an opportunity for sharp, effortless humor that left the audience laughing.
Cortez, she responded to this ruling on Twitter as well. She says, if the Supreme Court was serious about their ridiculous color blindness claims, they would have abolished legacy admissions, aka affirmative action for the privileged. 70% of Harvard's legacy applicants are white. SCOTUS didn't touch that, which would have impacted them and their patrons. Does she have a point there?
She used the word ludicrous. That was cool. That was new. But again, it's the same argument. No matter what you're doing, that it's all white people's fault. And it's just, such a great talking point, to the point where it's just literally, if it was a dying horse.
Tyrus lounged with the effortless confidence of someone about to topple a Jenga tower with a single sarcastic tap, while AOC built paragraph after paragraph like a structure doomed to collapse. She leaned into the microphone as if it were a trusted confidant, timed each pause like a TED speaker, and paced the stage with the intensity politicians love. Every pause seemed to beg for applause, which came as awkward, polite claps. Ironically, the more she amplified her seriousness, the more exposed she became to the one force that could unravel her performance. Tyrus, armed with his uniquely devastating humor.
Fresh idea or issue in her life. The reason why she gets along with Bernie is because she's like an 80-year-old leftist in a used bookstore. I mean, she may look fresh, but she's as stale as an abandoned futon on the street. It's like, I listen to her, I go, I heard that at Berkeley in 1983. So their problem is, and the reason why they don't have any ideas is
The irony is that AOC thrives on control, meticulously crafting her speeches, packing every moment, and shaping the narrative to perfection, expecting the audience to follow like devoted disciples. Yet humor cares nothing for rules, timing, or dramatic arcs. Her solemnity cracks when laughter erupts, fast and precise. Tyrus, armed with his metaphorical slingshot, waits to topple the first brick, subtly dismantling the performance. Her words tug at emotions, but the room brims with anticipation. Humiliation rarely needs chaos. It comes quietly, delivered with sharp, clean, devastating precision, Tyrus's trademark, exposing the fragility of even the grandest stagecraft without raising his voice.
Break from doing nothing to get into a beef with the Twitter chief. On Tuesday, she tweeted, LMAO at a billionaire earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an $8 a month subscription plan. That's a reference to Musk's plan to charge people $8 a month for verified blue checkmark status. But he hit back tweeting, your feedback is appreciated. Now pay $8.
The stage was set perfectly. AOC, fully absorbed in her theatrical delivery, believed the audience hung on every word, yet polite taps replaced cheers. Tyrus leaned back, grinning, knowing his knockout joke was imminent. The twist: AOC wasn't even present. Mocking from afar takes skill, and he executed flawlessly. He transformed her carefully staged political theater into late-night improv, landing sharp, precise jabs at her habit of turning any space into a high-stakes declaration, warning that a few tweets could topple society. The audience laughed, delighted, as he dismantled her drama with effortless comedic precision.
AOC has 61% approval rating for Democrats, right? The highest of any Democrat unless they've been elected president. So if your new brand ambassador is going to be AOC, then I think it's...
According to Tyrus, AOC probably rehearses her speeches in front of a mirror while brushing her teeth, her toothbrush looking scandalized as her arms flail and numbers swirl around her. That single imagined image instantly dismantled her carefully constructed theatricality. He then targeted her signature reliance on grand metaphors, wielding humor like a scalpel, spilling a glass of water proving sea level rise, mocked, a late Uber signaling corporate greed, ridiculed. A dying phone battery indicting capitalism, teased mercilessly. Her sweeping analogies, once weighty, now felt like the overreach of a frazzled theater student. Even mundane moments, like discussing lunch, became exaggerated harbingers of doom. Tyrus quipped, "Yes, I'll take the avocado toast," highlighting the absurdity of overblown seriousness. His genius lies not in invention, but in revealing the comedy already embedded in her routines, tone, and relentless drive to turn everyday life into high-stakes political theater. The result: AOC's meticulous performance collapses under sharp, playful scrutiny, leaving laughter in place of gravity and exposing the humor hiding beneath her intensity.
They're not meant for you, right? But then you have to ask, okay, then what is this debt forgiveness? Who is it meant for? And when you look at the data, it's upper, white, middle class, liberal women. This ain't welfare, right? These are well-to-do people. It's a bribe for Democrats on the backs of plumbers, truckers, and everyone else who actually does a real job, unlike me. AOC is the symbol of the entitled sponge. She complains about student loan.
What once seemed like decisive leadership quickly revealed itself as pure performance under Tyrus's scrutiny. After dissecting her speeches, he immediately pivoted to AOC's social media habits, noting how she wields Twitter like a presidential pulpit. He quipped that if Washington's Wi-Fi ever went down, she'd erupt in all caps, declaring it the biggest attack on democracy in recent memory, simply because an Instagram live froze. That single mental image reduced the gravity of her messages into absurdity, reframing her as less a congresswoman guiding a movement and more a mischievous, theatrical neighbor delivering over-the-top performances. Tyrus didn't stop there. He zeroed in on the ironic contrast between her polished, fashion-conscious lifestyle and her apocalyptic alarmism. Attending climate photo sessions in full couture while warning of the planet's imminent doom became the perfect punchline, demonstrating how carefully curated appearances can undercut the urgency of a message. With surgical precision, Tyrus turned every display of theatricality into comedy, exposing the gap between performance and genuine leadership, leaving the audience laughing while reconsidering the spectacle they'd been watching.
Bulldog. Thanks to Cat Temp, I know everything about French Bulldogs. And one thing I know, they are so expensive. They're more expensive than any college tuition. You got to take care of them. They're adorable dogs, but she owns a Tesla and she owns a French Bulldog, and she wants you or your dad, the electrician, to forgive her student loan. That's BS. Turn in the Tesla, sell the dog.
Tyrus masterfully exposed the paradox of AOC's rhetoric, noting that while she relentlessly vilifies capitalism, she navigates and even thrives within it, a subtle yet devastating irony. He compared her lectures to being trapped in a classroom where the teacher has spoken for weeks, losing track of the material while students frantically take notes, unsure where the lesson begins or ends. This perfectly captured her speaking style, noisy, intricate, dramatic, and ultimately exhausting. The fact that she wasn't present allowed Tyrus to stretch his jokes and twist the knife without restraint. Each punchline landed with precision, proving that his razor-sharp sarcasm alone could transform the room, leaving the audience both laughing and reflecting.
$80 for theater. I mean, I made $80 in a theater, and there wasn't even a movie playing.
Wow. What do you mean?
I don't know. You know, it's no surprise. Who would go see a movie that's the opposite of entertaining? There's nothing entertaining about that. Michael Moore's colonoscopy is more entertaining than that because there's probably more twists. But it does show you how great it is to be a progressive in a liberal biased culture. She really doesn't do her job, right? She makes movies. She goes to galas. She sits for glossy butt-kissing interviews.
By the time Tyrus finished his takedown, AOC's meticulously cultivated image as an unstoppable political force had been thoroughly reframed into a running joke. The audience's laughter started quietly, tentative at first, then grew louder as the implications sank in. Every carefully crafted analogy, each apocalyptic prediction about society's collapse, and every dramatic gesture that had once been intended to convey urgency became fodder for comedy. What had been meant as gravitas was now a blueprint for amusement. The transformation didn't rely on shouting matches or public confrontations. Instead, it emerged from Tyrus's precision, timing, and subtle exposure of inconsistencies in her narrative. Every sarcastic remark highlighted the contrast between her rehearsed theatrics and the actual content of her statements, turning intended authority into undeniable humor. The audience recognized the irony immediately. The person who once commanded unwavering attention now appeared theatrical, almost like a character in a satirical sketch rather than a policymaker. Her dramatic pauses, once meant to underscore the urgency of wealth disparity, climate change, or corporate greed, instead drew focus to the overextension of her performance. Even the most dire warnings now read as exaggerated comedy. Her confidence appeared inflated, almost cartoonish, as if oblivious to how perception had shifted. Once the audience noticed, there was no turning back. What had projected power now provoked laughter, and Tyrus's dismantling was complete. Authority was replaced with entertainment, leaving the audience simultaneously amused and aware of the subtle cracks in her political image.